I'd like to call this meeting of the Columbia County Board of Commissioners to order for this Tuesday, February the 6th, 2018. This time I'd like to ask Commissioner Morris if he would offer up our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you bow your heads. Heavenly Father, once again, we come to you so grateful of this wonderful community we live in and the fact that they're here tonight that care about their community and try to do the right thing for each and every one of us. Thankful for the men in blue that are here tonight, and one in particular to be recognized, and all of the first responders and ones that keep us safe. Pray that you'll be with them more about their daily and nightly jobs and protecting us from harm. Pray for our nation and our leaders. We all can be guided by the example set by you and your Son, and all these things we pray.
Amen.
Sir, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a full quorum tonight with all 5 commissioners present. Had a chance to review the minutes of our meeting of January the 16th. If you're satisfied with their content, we'll accept the motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion of any items? All in favor, please raise your right hand. I believe we, Mr. Johnson, have one request from Commissioner Morris to move one item from the consent agenda.
Yes, Mr.
That
Chairman.
is
Sorry.
H4A would move to I2D1. Is that what you have?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
This is an item that was approved by committee to be on consent, but as each commissioner has the right to request that it come back to debate, we'll do that. Any other changes or
Not to my
agenda?
knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to welcome all of you to this meeting of the Columbia County Board of Commissioners. Remind you that these proceedings are videotaped. If you'd like a copy, we'll be glad to supply you one if you'll make a request to our county clerk. Remind you, too, that they can be seen on the county website in a few days for your full late-night viewing enjoyment, I'm sure. Remind you, too, that you're invited to speak to this body. If you're not already on the agenda or have submitted a request, we ask that you fill out one in the back of the room, bring it up to Ms. Crawley, and we'll recognize you at the proper time during the meeting. Move now to our real special recognitions, starting off with our January Employee of the Month for 2018. Vice Chairman Duncan is going to make this presentation to Juan Rivera Golan from the Sheriff's Office. And we got several of the men in blue here tonight.
My distinct privilege to Juan Rivera Colon, the Employee of the Month 2018. Bear with me, I'll read this bio. Juan grew up in Puerto Rico. He joined the Army as a communications specialist in September of 1977. After 20 years of various assignments to include West Germany, South Korea, and the United States, Juan returned from military service and made the CSRA his home with his wife of 34 years. You've been married 34 years? Congratulations. Juan came to work with Columbia County Sheriff's Office shortly after his retirement and began working in the Specials Operations Division, bicycle patrolman. Juan is a field training officer and is very knowledgeable of his job assignment. He speaks English, German, Spanish, all fluently. Impressive. Trilingual, right? Yes, sir. You know what it means if you know what it means if you only speak one language? They're American. All right, I digress. He always is ready to take additional tasks to help out with every situation. Happy attitude is reflected on a daily basis. A pleasure to work with. Juan's fluency in speaking Spanish language, he has translated for the Sheriff's Office and the courthouse on numerous occasions to include on his hours off coming into help. Juan's unwavering commitment to serving not only the Sheriff's Office, but the citizens of Columbia County reflect greatly on the true person that he is. Juan, thank you very much from the citizens of Columbia County. We appreciate all that you do.
Just want to say thank you.
What about it like in Spanish or German?
Muchas gracias.
There you go. All right. There you go. Well, the good news is you get a day off with pay and $100 check for being employee of the month, but taxes will be taken out. So, thank you very much.
Accompanying Juan was Sergeant A.J. Lyons, a longtime member of the Sheriff's Department. We are honored that so many of you showed up tonight, but we know you're not here to see us, but I would like to make a statement on this discussion of item I2C1, the rezoning of property at 5030 Columbia Road. The commission has always been well aware and honored the requests of people to do things with their own land. We also appreciate what our developers and builders all try to do to build in the county to supply the continually growing need, thankfully, of residents. But on the same note, we're equally aware of what things can do to neighborhoods surrounding them and adjacent properties and the rights of those people to look after their own property. So we've had a lot of requests to speak on this matter. We have had communication from the developer that they would like to withdraw this proposal without prejudice, and we'll take that up a little bit later in the meeting. As you grow and land becomes more expensive, there's always the desire to put more development in smaller space than what necessarily would be the case if you were not growing so fast. But we have an obligation here to look at that and to maintain the standards that's been in Columbia County, revised over the years, to try to make sure that we have the best quality of life as can be possible for all of our residents. These people that have asked to speak, and there's quite a number, I would ask that you have one, if you still would like to speak, that you get one person from your group, because most of your reasoning on this is very similar. We understand the traffic situation, we understand the property values, we understand the crowding, and we have taken note of that, and you will probably note that the reason that we've had some withdrawals in a good many items of late is the fact that either planning and zoning or this board of commissioners, or both, have not been happy with the proposal of development that was made. So we'll take that up a little bit later, but I would like to ask that if you'd like to speak, that you have one person speak for the group. And if there's additional comments that are not covered, we'll take those up at that time too. We do have one other gentleman that wishes to speak, and it'll be an item that we take up too concerning a sign placement on William Few, not on William Few, but on Riverwatch Parkway, and we'll ask him to come up at that time also. Then we have before you the consent agenda. These are items less the one that was removed that's been through the necessary committee process and received the required 3 votes to be put on consent. If you're satisfied with this list as adjusted, we'll take a motion to approve all of these as one vote.
So move.
Second.
Any items needing discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Move now to our debate agenda. We have several second readings of ordinance changes. Commissioner Duncan, Vice Chair Duncan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 17-08, amendment of Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 2, Section 2-51, 2-81, 2-111, 2-112, 2-146, 2-147, 2-217, 2-219, 2-220, 2-223, 2-227, 2-228, 2-341, 2-368, 2-423, Chapter 20, Article 2, Section 22-12.
Sorry, that's 22
I'm sorry, did I say what I say?
and 20.
Oh, my bad. Thank you. I amend that. Numbers. Chapter 22, Article 2, Section 22-12. Chapter 66, Article 2, Section 66-40. Chapter 86, Article 2, Section 86-39. Chapter 90, Article 3, Section 90-99, repealing any conflicting ordinances and the effective date of the adoption.
Motion and a second.
Don't ask me to read it again.
Any discussions of these organizational structure corrections and changes? All in favor? Okay.
Chairman, I make the following motion. I make a motion to approve the second reading of Resolution 18-003, amending the services and fee schedule for broadband utility.
Second.
And I believe, Mr. Kennedy, this is to be able to compete with other broadband service providers.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Commissioner Allen?
Sir, I would like to make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 18-02, amending Chapter 34, Article 3, Soil Erosion, Sedimentation, and Pollution Control, repealing any conflicting ordinances and establishing an effective date of adoption. Establishing an effective date of the adoption.
Second. I believe this is to maintain our licensing authority under EPD.
Correct. It was changes to the state ordinance, and we had to follow to add a buffer along coastal marshlands. If we ever get coastal marshlands, we now will buffer them.
Pray not.
Yes, I hope so.
Further discussion? All in favor?
One of my favorites, sir. I make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 18-03, amending Chapter 6, Alcoholic Beverages, repealing any conflicting ordinances and establishing an effective date of the adoption.
Second.
Just to give you a little more freedom to roam around the plaza once we get that thing completed. Other discussion?
Basically, an open container, one or 16-ounce alcoholic beverage, non-glass within the traffic bounds.
Right, it's confined to the plaza area,
Right.
the downtown, the new downtown area.
Which means you can't cross Evans Town Center Boulevard and come into the park.
Correct.
All in favor? Okay.
I would like to make a motion to approve the second reading of Resolution 18-004, Kalari, Section 2 SD-513B, upfront poll cost of $4,213.71, and annual utility cost $1,785.24. Resolution 18-005, River Island, Section 3, SD-409C, upfront poll cost of $1,872.76, and annual utility cost of $791.04 to establish streetlight districts, and authorization for Georgia Power to proceed with that installation.
Second. As you probably aware, these are requests from these subdivisions to have streetlights. The county takes upon that operation to have that done with Georgia Power. And of course, your bill for it in your tax bill at the end of the year. Other discussion? All in favor? Okay. We move now to new business. We'll go back to Vice Chair Duncan.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement lease with the Development Authority of Columbia County.
Second.
Mr. Johnson, did we get an increase in rent with this or not?
There is an increase in rent on this, Mr. Chairman. This was I believe it was a 5-year lease before. We are extending it again, and there is an increase in the rent, but there some improvements have been requested by the Development Authority on behalf of their tenants or their subtenants there, and we've agreed to those.
And I believe we have the Chair of the Development Authority here, Mr. Holler. Thank you for being here. Any other comments? All in favor?
This is basically just, we lease the Development Authority a building.
Office space. We get a vote? Thank you.
Chairman, I make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with the Development Authority Phase 3 Plaza and to approve the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Second.
This is continuation of the work across the street from the park, hopefully to have some people to come or already have making some inquiries to locate some additional services over there. And of course, the Development Authority is our group that handles that as far as land transactions, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor? Okay. Commissioner Allen, I believe we return to you.
Sir, do you wish me to make that motion?
Yes, I do.
I would like to make a motion to allow the withdrawal without prejudice for the applicant for a rezoning of the applicant for a rezoning of tax map 068027 from R1 to R2 to develop a residential neighborhood.
Second.
Motion and a second. And I believe we had a lot of people that was concerned about this. And do we have I believe one person has a PowerPoint that wanted to present, or do we have one person that would like to speak on this one way or the other? Are you satisfied with the current results? Yes, sir. Come on up. If you would give us your name and address, please.
My name is Joseph Bird. Live at 142 Nichols Way. I'm a homeowner in the Nichols Cove subdivision. I've got a few slides here, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to present that kind of illustrate my concerns as a property owner. Slide. Okay, this slide shows you where my property is in yellow. Comes up against the proposed development question. See here the 50-foot buffer that's been proposed, and this is the concept plan that I received a couple days ago as of 29. So it's a little bit different from the original R2 concept plan, but immediately behind my house there's still 8 homes projected to go in, and there's still what will be a county road 50 feet from my property line. So it's still a significant, still a major concern. And at R1A, which is slightly less than lots. We bought our home in 2012, researched the history, the zoning history of the whole area prior to making that major investment. We believed in good faith that the R1 zoning would stand. There was no sewer line at that time. So R1 meant 2 to 3 acre lots in Nichols Cove, and that's what we believed would develop behind us. So imagine the rear of my home seeing 1 or 2 homes. So that was, had we known that R2 was possible, or even R1A, no way we would further out. Incidentally, I just want to make a note, the county came through 12, took an easement. County rep came out to our home, spoke with us about it, basically said, hey, look, it's minimal impact. I've shaded that area in orange. Slide there, you can see. There's minimal impact. If you don't agree, we're going to condemn it and take it anyway because this is for the good of the county. So we said, okay, we signed the paper. No mention that that change would enable smaller lot size behind us. Not one mention of that. Had there been, I'd have been here speaking to you back in 2012 about that issue.
Well, in fairness, I don't think anybody knew that this particular proposal would be coming forth at this time.
This is a view from my front yard. Basically, I wanted you to see what an R1 view in Nichols Cove looks like. This is what we were looking for. We were looking to buy in this area, and we found it. Now, this is just a slide to kind of give you a perspective. R2 on the left, you can see less than quarter-acre size lots. R1A, which is the current proposal, as I understand it, which is slightly less than a half an acre. And then, again, the R1 type view that you have in This is a view from the end of my driveway, looking out towards the back of my property. There, about where the family of deer are, you can see where the property line is, and just beyond that, where the road would be. Another view from my back porch. Another view from, if you're standing on my pool deck looking where the road would be behind my house. Now I've got basically two front yards if this thing. Street in the front, which I have. Now I'm going to have a street in the back, very close. Here's, if you're standing on the end of my driveway, here's where the road would be. And everything beyond that blue line, it's asphalt, it's slicked, it's houses. Standing where that proposed road is, looking down at the back of my house, my pool deck, what you can see. Standing at the edge of the proposed road. Another shot. Major concerns for maintaining privacy. This is approved. Finally, if approved for R1, privacy, my ability to enjoy my property is significantly and disproportionately compromised, along with the resale value of my home, largest investment. Developers asking, in my opinion, special privilege here, zone at the expense of existing property owners. I would ask that you deny the request. I do not believe that the criteria for rezoning has been met in this case. Any of your questions?
You realize that you could still have a road and houses behind your house as R1.
I understood that, Chairman. Completely anticipated that that property would be developed. Again, R1, not knowing a sewer line would come through and would enable smaller lots, we had anticipated at least 2 to 3 acre lots behind us, which meant 1 or 2 homes, not 8 homes.
But I think if it goes R1, you're still looking at 30,000 square foot lots. Is that correct?
Yes, minimum of 30,000.
So you'll have less than an acre lots either way as currently zoned.
Yes, sir. If it, as I understand it, if it goes R1,
Which it is, R1.
It's R1 already.
If it continues R1.
if it continues R1, it would be minimum 3/4 acre lots. So
Roughly, yes.
what that would-
30,000 square feet.
minimum. So what that would mean would be 4 homes, yes, a road, but 4
Yeah.
houses behind us versus 8.
But you may still have the same road there depending on the design they do.
Yes, sir, I understand. But I'd rather look at 4 homes.
Okay. Just to be absolutely clear, my motion was to withdraw the initial proposal that came before us, which was R1 to R2. But there was discussion of an R1A, there was other discussion. But in that motion to withdraw that application, all applications are wiped off the board. So it's not that we're going to be bringing back an R1A after this, or this.
Starts over.
This finishes this round completely. In order for any change to take place, an applicant would have to start the process from square one in the very beginning again.
So it could come back as an R2 proposal again.
Again, it could come back again, but I mean, the whole, I think,
It could come back every 6 months.
but what we're looking, yeah, they have the right, and
Right,
something that you said earlier in your presentation, had you known that it could be rezoned, I'm afraid anything can be rezoned under the request of a property owner, regardless of where you are. The request can always be made. So there's no guarantee other than you owning the property that nothing will ever be changed. But I understand what you're.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that the planning guidelines, the vision for the county, considers all of these things, and that criteria is applied whenever a proposal comes.
Why do you think that this proposal is being withdrawn?
I was going to say, without coming forward, I think I know what the mindset of this particular body is, but this particular body will not be the same group of people in perpetuity.
I'm hopeful.
I hope and pray.
And I'm hopeful I notice, I see the notice of a public hearing when it's posted.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have anything to add that has not already been stated? Well, we got a couple. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't know that, was that road part of this initial
I believe
request?
it was, yes, no, I believe it was.
Road was part of the request. However, any development that's property, can't really
Are you talking about the road is with the development, not the one that was in previous discussion across the road?
road that's with.
Oh, okay, yes, it is part of all this.
Right, it goes away.
No,
But as the chairman has pointed out, it is currently R1, sir, and any future development can go in there pending approval from the Georgia Department of Transportation and the layout.
yes, ma'am.
I've thought about it, and I think that my comments that I wrote this morning are still applicable, so I'd like to share.
Give us your name and address, please.
I'm sorry. Thank you. My name is Suzanne Sniffen, and I live at 103 Hunting Tower Drive in Tudor Branch. So I have a different perspective than the gentleman from Nichols Way. I moved here 5 weeks ago,
Welcome.
and my stuff arrived the day before Christmas Eve. So it's been a whirlwind. I lived in Augusta 12 years ago. My husband and I chose to come back here, quality of life. And that is why I want to share these comments with you today as you move forward, because they shape your decisions. Last night, as my husband and I were reflecting, we felt like the rug was being pulled out from under us with the idea of the entrance being right across from Tudor Branch. We purchased in that neighborhood because of the ease of coming in and out. We moved from Maryland. And in Maryland, you decide everything you're going to do based on traffic, when you can go somewhere, all of your decisions. It is very different than here. But I hear people talking about traffic a lot, and I know about the discussions of traffic, but I want to make a point about traffic. My friend Ashley Guess pointed out to me that temperature is an indirect measure of heat. It actually doesn't measure heat. And traffic is an indirect measure of the health of the infrastructure of Columbia County. And in that way, that's why people become so concerned about it. It indirectly measures, how are we doing? How are we taking care of people and their quality of life? That makes sense? I hope it does. But I'm also a public school educator. I now homeschool my children, but I care about the kids in the county. And my secondary concern with development in this county, making sure that the schools are able to meet the needs of the kids. So yesterday I spoke and I called on the phone the Columbia County Board of Education, and I spoke with a kind lady who explained to me that it takes 3 to 5 years in Columbia County to plan for and build a new school. And I know that there's a lot of jobs potentially coming to Fort Gordon. That means a lot of people. And I read on the website yesterday from the Board of Commissioners. It says, the Board of Commissioners seeks to provide the necessary county services in the most cost-efficient and effective manner, and to provide the foundation and guidelines necessary for the future prosperity of Columbia County. So I have one more story for you. We lived in Maryland outside a military post up there, and they were supposed to get a lot of military jobs coming in. And then people refused to come. They wouldn't, because they liked where they were living. And so my encouragement to you is to consider traffic, to consider infrastructure, the schools, and the roads as you approve new, larger homes and multiple plans, because it affects the quality of life and whether people will want to come here or not. That is something that I just want you to consider as you move forward. I hope that was my piece that I wanted to say. So thank you for letting me share that this evening. I appreciate the withdrawal of the plan across the street. I want to be safe coming in and out of my neighborhood. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I know that majority of you here are not familiar with the process that involves these. But everything that you said or asked about is reviewed when a project comes forward. This man over here sees to that. The Board of Education is contacted, the Sheriff's Department's contacted, the Water and Sewer Utilities contacted. Several others sit down to look at the impact of the request it will have on the neighborhood. Now, the road situation is a little different. If they can see a need and plan and build a school in 3 to 5 years, they're better off than we are with the road, because that's about 7 years. But DOT would look at this driveway permit, and I'm sure that they would probably grant one for this if it went R1. And they would look at the configuration. They would do the traffic counts to see where it warranted a signal or not. We got some notes saying that if you put the driveway there, at least put up a signal. Well, I don't think that's necessarily our call. We have to do what DOT says, and it's based on traffic counts. And of course, as always, to your point about Maryland, your traffic count is going to get way up above what the road can handle before you can build a new road. Just like a school gets crowded before they can start the process of a new school. But there is a process in place that I think is followed very diligently by the staff and all the supporting members of the county to ensure, hopefully, that we can maintain the quality of life and handle the growth that we're experiencing and have experienced for a great number of years. Does anybody have any other comments? We have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor? Okay. Believe you can continue, Mr. Allen?
Oh, sorry, so me. I make a motion to approve the major plan revision and rezoning on tax map 074079 from PUD and S1 to S1, currently split zoned S1 and PUD, subject to the conditions enumerated in the January 18, 2018 Planning Commission report.
Second.
And I believe this is one of 2 or 3 requests on behalf of the old Fundsville property that's now going to be a church and recreation center and various other things.
That is correct.
Any other comments? All in favor?
I would like to make a motion to approve the rezoning from PUD and S1 to M1, located at tax map 074079, and a conditional use for a gym, subject to the conditions enumerated in the January 18, 2018 Planning Commission report.
Second.
And I believe this is also to allow a auto repair function as part of this.
Tire store.
Other comments? All in favor? Okay.
Ms. Crawley, would you like me to read slower so you can flip? Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the request for a variance. Section 90-139, buffers and screening for tax map 074079, to remove the buffer on the southern property line of the proposed parcel with the condition that they shall provide a landscape strip along said southern property line.
Second.
I believe part of this is going to still be used as the access road to get to this property. Other comments? All in favor? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the request for variance to section 90-53, list of lot and structure requirements for tax map 057A 006, to reduce the required setback from Washington Road to 90 feet from the center line, to allow for an addition to the existing house, and to reduce the setback from McCloudy Drive to 2 feet from the right-of-way to match the location of the existing building.
Second.
Any discussion of this? All in favor? You on a roll now, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to approve the variance to section 90-144, placement of buildings and structures for tax map 077C 346, 347, and 348 to permit an 8-foot tall fence to be placed within the rear setback of the 3 parcels.
Second.
And I believe this was okayed with the neighbors and everybody concerned that it was just better to leave this alone. Okay, all in favor?
Is this I2C7? I would like to make a motion to disapprove the request for a variance to Section 90-135 signs for tax map 082D036 to permit the existing roof sign, or to not permit the existing roof sign, and to not permit a slight increase in the allowed wall signage subject to the conditions enumerated in the January 18th, 2018 Planning Commission report. That worded clearly enough?
Yes, sir. It is for
It is
me.
to-
It
the
is
motion
for the-
is to
for the
disapprove.
record.
Before we get too far, let's see if we get a second.
Second.
Okay, need any clarification?
I just wanted to make sure that it was understood that the motion was to disapprove the request.
We're clear.
We have a request from Mr. Rick Kearns, and I believe another gentleman, Joe Adib, to speak to this matter.
I'm Joe Adib from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm not a Gator. Welcome when the
Good start.
come to town
Yeah, very smooth.
every year.
I'm Rick Kearns. I live at St. Simon's Island. I went to State, and I'm an Eagles fan. That's why I lost my voice.
He got a plane to catch at 6 in the morning to go to the parade in Philadelphia. I wonder what's wrong with him.
But thank you for moving.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say we're very proud of what we've done at historic. Number of people that have come to us that roller skated there, went to sock hops there, voted there. So we feel like we have done a fantastic job with the building. We ask that you once again reconsider letting us, if we have to move that dormer, have those. Okay, so that's the proposed, and if you go back to the other, the second one, better from the street. It's 31 inches. Our building sits 7 feet below Riverwatch Parkway. I know 2 weeks ago I could not come to the meeting. Our builder came and explained that, did a no-no and put this sign up unbeknownst to us. He told us he had approval. And of course, that's an issue we've got to take up with him if we're not granted. So 2 weeks ago when he came back, we got to working on, okay, how much is it going to cost to move that dormer? A couple weeks ago, we redid 2 bathrooms, one of our restaurants, and those 2 bathrooms cost more than my first house cost. Ridiculous. So when I get the price to move that dormer, of course, we're going to ruin the warranty on the roof, and Rick's got to pass out the hand. It's $50,000 for us to do all the necessary permitting, move the dormer, get a new sign, and we think that's a pretty exorbitant price to pay. So we're asking you to please reconsider. We don't think what we're asking is a great deal because our building does sit 7 feet below street level. Seeing those 2 pictures,
The change is not.
and when you look at the billboard behind us, and if you're coming down Riverwatch, I mean, you would think that billboard is part of our building when you're driving, you know, down Riverwalk toward our direction. So, I mean, again, I'm a common sense type of guy. I just feel like what we're asking for is not above and beyond a fair
Clarification, we appreciate you've approved the variance. Issue is the conditions that were attached conditions were very reasonably printed and written, slightly moved the dormer. Found out that, I mean, the dormer is not just a simple doghouse down. I'd like to ask if you would, without the conditions.
Do you realize that you're asking us to allow someone to come in, apply for a sign, get denied, but go right on and put up the sign without a permit? And then you're asking us to just forget that and move on. Why do we have regulations if someone just comes in and says, well, can't you let this slide this time?
And I understand that completely, and in any agreement, any business arrangement, there's a level of trust. And for anything I've ever built in my life, when the contractor tells me he's got the permits, I don't go ask to say, can I see the permits? So whether it was an electrical permit, mechanical, plumbing, I mean.
But the fact remains, he was your contractor.
Oh, there's no question.
He was acting on your behalf, correct?
There's no question, and I can tell you.
And what are we going to do with the next guy that comes in and does something that doesn't meet the ordinance? You forgave this one, how about forgiving mine?
No, I understand completely.
Well, how do we handle something like that?
Has this ever happened before? This situation?
Well, I don't really know.
It's never happened
Don't
in
recall.
my career. It's never happened in my career, and
It wouldn't matter if it's exactly the same thing happened. It's a matter of you're enforcing regulations or you're not enforcing them. Now, the motion that was read is to deny your variance request totally.
Right, okay.
Now, it was not read like planning and zoning had it to approve the variance with conditions, but you're saying that you couldn't accept it with the conditions.
I mean, it's, you know, to think that's going to cost us $50,000 plus.
Well, the other option is if it's denied, you're going to be asked to take the sign totally down. Am I not correct?
Well, and if you'll allow me to clarify that too, the dormer here is not the issue. It's not a matter of moving the dormer. Dormer can stay. It was part of the building plans. It can stay. Choose the sign. The sign just has to come off of it. So whatever the cost of building a new sign would be, if the motion stands and is approved as made, the sign would just have to come off. You wouldn't be allowed to have the sign on top of your building.
There's been a little confusion with that, but if you're saying the dormer can stay, last thing we want to do is ruin the integrity of the roof and lose the warranty of the roof.
Well, the dormer was never an issue, was it?
The dormer's not the issue. It's the sign on the dormer. Creates what our code calls an illegal sign.
It says
Put the sign some other place and it's.
Dormer currently containing the roof sign must be redesigned to.
If the sign is going to stay on the dormer, you have to redesign the dormer.
Right, we're trying to find a happy medium with that.
That clear that up some?
Yeah, it clears it up.
So what our thoughts probably would be, just hopefully we're going in the right direction, remove the sign. We could bid for a new permit to out the sign and do that on a pole sign or something like that.
Pole or monument or however you like to do it.
Where?
Pole or monument, just some other place other than that dormer.
And our sign ordinance does take into account your building being below the road. You can actually get an extended height sign to counter that 7-foot change in elevation. So
Okay.
How much time do we have?
Really?
Process or restart?
the sign application.
8:30 tomorrow morning.
Okay. I guess that's what we'll have to do.
Do we have any issue with the wall sign?
No, the wall sign's fine. Yeah, we shave a little bit off the tail, will be fine.
So At this point, I have made a motion to disapprove their application for a variance. To expedite this process, is that the fastest way, and then they can take off their sign and reapply for a new sign? Or do we adjust this motion, amend my motion, to allow, no, I guess the
first
easiest thing
way.
to do at this point is to wipe the slate clean.
That's
The
correct.
request- The request was just to have this roof sign.
Right.
If you deny the variance request, no roof sign, they got to come in for a regular.
It'd be faster, it'd be fast
That's
for
the
them.
easiest way to do it.
Yep.
That's correct.
So 45-day period or something like that would be a reasonable.
The man right there gets to sign off on them.
So the sign's going to be approved within a day or two.
Okay.
So, you have to have time. We'd give you time to obviously design that with the sign company. If it's going to take you a month and a half to do that, that's fine.
But they can put it back on the dormer
They,
But it,
at a different,
they cannot put the sign back on.
cannot put it back on the dormer, okay.
Cannot put the sign back
I
But
would
we'll work with you, and we will give you reasonable accommodations to get the sign down. Nobody's gonna go out there tomorrow.
there's a lot of money.
Nobody's gonna go out there tomorrow and make you take it down. So the staff will work with you over the period of time it takes, if you'll just work with us to try to expedite it.
Neighbors.
But we appreciate it. We appreciate your business in Columbia County.
You might want to get your contractor to talk more with county officials as opposed to
Well, no.
just
we're-
doing something.
believe me, The builder will be paying for that.
Yes.
Get a good one.
All right, well, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any more comments on this? We have a motion to disapprove the request for variance.
I had a lady with her hand up, but did she still wish to speak?
Right behind.
Ma'am, did you want to speak? You that are getting ready to leave, I guess not.
The one that raised your, well, don't we all? Thank you. It just didn't comply with the county code. Any more discussion? All in favor of denying the request for variance, please raise your hand. Okay,
Whew, where are we?
we're down to the last one, next to
I2CA.
last.
I would like to make a motion to approve the request for a variance to section 90-98, list of lot and structure requirements for tax map 061085D. To reduce the front setback along William Few Parkway to 90 feet from the center line of the road for an existing building to remain.
And this was due to a change in the status of the road or something of that?
Classification of road change.
Yeah. Further discussion, all in favor? You know, it's amazing, sometimes you get criticized for not following the rules, and then you get criticized for following the rules.
That's government, Mr. Chairman.
Same minute.
Sometimes by the same people, sir.
That's right, all the same. Mr. Morris, I believe we're down to your item.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that take the item that was part of the consent agenda, H4A, the engineering proposal, Falcon Creek expansion,
Mhm.
and refer it back to the staff for further study.
I'll second that.
Any discussion of this? Mr. Clayton, are you aware of this request? Okay,
Back to committee, appropriate time.
all right. All in favor? Okay. Mr. Driver, I assume we have no legal matters.
We do not.
We're not going to talk about them anyway, even if you got them.
Not on hope.
We do have one real estate matter to take up. Commissioner Allen?
Yes, sir. Under executive session and property, I would like to make a motion to approve 13,700.
Let me clarify now, that this is not executive session.
Oh, I
This is
apologize.
open session.
No, this is coming from executive session.
Well, we didn't have an executive session, so it's being done in open session.
Apologize. I have it listed separately on my work.
So you need to have paper instead
You know,
of saying.
excuse me. I I make a motion to approve $13,725 to McKnight Properties Incorporated. Parcel 2, P2, $27,200 to McKnight Properties Incorporated, P4, $150,500 to MMCK Boulevard, LLC, P4, $47,500 to A&W Oil and Tire Company, P3, $28,500 to University Health Resources, Incorporated, P74, $5,063 to Columbia County Board of Education, P60, and $24,340 to Columbia County Board of Education, P70, to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for the Flowing Wells Road widening project.
Second.
Very good. How many left?
Thank
on
you
these?
for the hearings.
Less than 10.
Six
Yeah,
left?
Six left.
6 left. All in favor?
Somebody second?
I did.
Oh, okay.
We have any additional comments or anything from the commission? Ma'am? Would you come up and give us your name and address?
Gentlemen, I'm Chris Slate. My address is 670 Devon, that's Amherst subdivision. On this Tudor Branch stuff, I didn't make it to the planning commission. I don't know if this was raised or not. Because what happens at Tudor Branch is going to affect Amherst Tyler Woods. It is. Has it been addressed? Is there even a sparkle of an idea to widen that section of Columbia Road that is so narrow? Is it, I have nothing against, because I know progress is coming, there's going to be, because there's land out that way, there are going to be developments, but how much can you impact the existing area without widening the road? So is there a dream in the distant future?
There is.
Where are we?
DOT
In my
has,
lifetime?
well, I hope you live to 120, 140.
Good answer.
DOT has a long-range plan and a long-range 2 plan, and I believe that is in long-range 2, which means more than 20 years out. That was the same boat that Washington Road was in before the citizens of Columbia County stepped up and took that project on, and we built it ourselves with our tax dollars versus state tax dollars. Right now, it is a state road, and they have a long-range plan that's still 20 years at least out.
But
I would add, if I could, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Just to say, because I don't think this gets out there enough, but the citizens of Columbia County and the voters of Columbia County have allocated money already. We'll be spending close to $239 million in the next 6 years on traffic alone in Columbia County. And some of these projects have been on the books for 10 or 12 years, and they're just now being funded. So that $239 million is already set aside, and that's where you're seeing a lot of these projects that are being done. That's outside any state projects that may come along on a long-range plan or anything like that. So, while every road is not being addressed maybe to our liking, we're making significant impacts to the infrastructure in the county. And like I said, some of these projects have been on the books 10 and 12 years, and it takes 7 years at least to do a road project. So Columbia Road, I'm sure, is one that we'll be looking at, but we have almost $250 million of projects in front of it.
We'll be here again.
I understand.
There's land out there, and I have nothing against development, against progress. I've got a big problem with my life. I don't like all the traffic.
I understand.
if there is any encouragement, DOT's priorities do change as needs change. And to say that it's on a long-range plan now doesn't necessarily mean it'll be on a long-range plan for this time next year or thereafter. So that has happened in the past where a need is seen and it's moved up in the planning.
Or thank you.
Vice versa, as
Well, that always helps.
Ben Thompson shows you.
Mr. Chairman, can I add something?
Sure.
In the past, when the TIA came up, Columbia County citizens voted against that.
Correct.
They did.
It is coming up in the very near future. We need to be talking about this, thinking about, and letting the citizens know that it's a must for us to continue projects that we have going and the developed roads like we need. Everybody talks about traffic and how terrible it is to get out there, but we have to stand up as a community to make the continued improvements happen. I just want to get that out there so you can be talking about it and talking to your neighbors or whatever, because, again, we voted it down as a county before.
But remember, this was a regional vote before, and so we got the benefit of the Transportation Investment Act of 2010 by virtue of Richmond County, Burke, and a lot of others voting for it. So even though we voted it down, we still wind up with what, $250 or $60 million from that 1 cent sales tax. But Commissioner Richardson is starting, and we've been talking about in planning, that we have some roads, like Columbia Road, like Hardy McManus, like Hereford Farm, that could very well be in that program if the citizens would approve it. Now, the difference in probably what's coming up is that probably we will go as a single county vote rather than a region. There's advantages both ways, but if we have the confidence that the citizens have seen the benefit of this, we get a lot more money if it's just a single Columbia County renewal of that 1 cent and keep the money here. So that's a question that's got to be answered by the commission going forward, is to pursue a regional vote or pursue where you could go with another county as long as it's contiguous, or go with a single county vote. But there'll be a lot of discussion, and I think a lot of planning in that could be a great benefit to the county. Any other comments from the commission or staff? Any reason to continue this meeting?
Hearing none, seeing none, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we adjourn.
I will second that, sir.
All in favor? We are adjourned.
What happened to my motion there at the end for executive session?